So I'm going to go ahead and pass the ball to my good friend, Mr. Stickney, who, I mean, I know y'all just feel so sad for him, but he's broadcasting from Costa Rica, so we had a little discussion about it this morning, and, his response was, well, somebody's got to take one for the team. So I'm looking forward to seeing Brian later on in October in Vegas. We're going to go to Las Vegas for the Traders Expo. And so I guess it's been about a year since we saw each other, hasn't it, Brian? It's been about a year, I guess.
Good stuff. I'm looking forward to it as well. Vegas is hometown for me, and that's.
I know. I'm gonna put your butt back out to Vegas. I'm gonna put your butt to work too. So I got you on speed dial. All right, I can see your PowerPoint now. Can everybody see James Edward and his PowerPoint?
Yeah, guys, type in a yes. Let us know if you're in there, and if you're seeing what we've got. If you're hearing my voice, everything's good. What I'd like to do, Jeanette, if you can just take the first person that replied in the chat box, and maybe later today, if you can get their email address or their PayPal address, I'll send them $50.
What the heck, man? I'd have said yes. I'd have thrown the wallet up. I didn't know you were going to throw cash down.
We want to reward people for taking action. People take action, reap the rewards, and I mean that's the way life works. We want to reinforce it.
That's hilarious.
I know it's early, guys. It's 7 a.m. out here in Costa Rica, but let's be on the edge of your chairs, taking notes, eliminating distractions. We've got some really good stuff for you.
All right, man. I'm going to mute. You take it away. All right. You have 1 hour.
All right.
Get it up.
I'll do it. Thanks, Jeanette. Yeah, so thank you very much, guys, for being here. And, I'm not able to see the chat, I don't think. I wasn't earlier. So Jeanette will get me that name of the first person that typed into chat. But like I said, action takers reap rewards. And that's the way life works, and we want to reinforce that for you. So keep that in mind as we go through the training today. We want action takers don't sit quietly on their hands. They take action. And I know it is early for some people, but it's afternoon for others. I know there's people from all over the world here. So depending on where you are, it's no excuses, right? You're up, you're here, you're taking action already. So let's go ahead and get started. The title for our segment today is Double Your Forex Profits with Half the Effort. I know that sounds like a big claim, but I will certainly show you how to do that. This is not me. We'll have a picture of me here a bit later. This is James Edward. James is my mentor and my trading partner, and we trade foreign exchange. That's what we do. We're currency traders. And as currency traders, we're also particularly fond of trading the direction of a trend. We want to trade with the market where it's going. So what we're going to teach you today is what our edge is on exploiting the market. We personally, I feel like it is. I mean, Forex is one of the easiest markets out of all of them to trade. And the reason I think so is because of the technique that I'm going to be showing you a little bit later today, right? So if you're interested in getting a genuine edge that really does make trading a lot easier and puts the odds significantly in your favor, then that's what I'm hoping to show you this morning. An interesting point before we get into the training is most of the people that are on this room, especially those of you that are trading Forex, statistically, over 98% of you are doing something a bit wrong. You're making a mistake every time you enter a trade that means you're missing out on significant profits and maybe even failing as a direct result of that error that you're making. So basically, for every 1,000 Forex traders, about 980 are making this huge mistake. So let me start off by asking you a question, right? If I sat you down in front of your trading platform and you saw a chart like this, what would you want to know? What would you want to know? Would you want to know maybe with a really quick glance and have a high degree of confidence which direction that price is most likely to go? I'm sure you would. I bet there's a ton of yeses coming in right now. I hope there are, because I'm sure that's what you all want to know. You want to know where the market's going to go next, right? Use that chat box. Let us know. I'm sure we have a lot of people saying this. We're not giving away another $50 just yet, but I want to keep you involved, right? What about if you looked at a currency pair chart, whatever your favorite pair is, Euro USD, pound yen, whatever it might be? Would you like to know again, with a high degree of confidence, whether it was going to be trending or if maybe it was going to be sideways, so that you could stay out of it and not get caught up in that flat, choppy, sideways market? Would you like to have that skill? I mean, again, I'm betting that there's going to be a lot of yeses coming into that chat box. I'm sure that you would. I mean, imagine how many fewer losses you'd be able to have if you could easily avoid those whipsaw sideways marketplaces, right? Okay, one last question, kind of an obvious one, but would you like to know in advance when the market was going to be trending? I mean, would you like to know when the trends are going to happen so that you could actually get onto those trends as early as possible and take those for maximum profits? Is that a skill you'd like to have? I'm sure it is. Imagine how much bigger your profits could be if you could spot those trends in advance. I think, right now we're probably getting fairly resounding yeses across the board. So, those of you that are answering, you're in very good company right now. So I think you all agree it's invaluable to be able to do those things. And those are skills that every trader would love to have. So if you can't do those things at the moment, it definitely means that you're making the mistake that I mentioned a second ago, and it's costing you dearly. So right now you're doing something wrong in your trading, and it's preventing you from having some of those invaluable skills. The good news, though, is that by the end of this training, you'll know a spectacularly simple trick. I call it a trick. It's not just a spectacularly simple bit of advice that you can start implementing immediately into your training. And it's going to allow you to do all of those things that we just mentioned. I know it's a fairly big claim, but if you can commit to staying with me, that's exactly what you're going to get. So today, what we're going to talk about, what you're going to learn, is how to identify at a glance which way the price on any currency pair chart is most likely to go so that you can increase your win rate, right? More often you win, the better off you're going to be, right? How to spot those trends in advance just as they're starting so you can get in early and increase your average profit per trade, get bigger wins. And then we're going to talk about how to avoid choppy, range-bound markets. And that's big. That right there's probably worth it alone just to avoid getting whipsawed and taking those unnecessary losses. So we're going to try and teach you something today that's going to transform you as a Forex trader, and it's something that you're going to walk away from today with more confidence about trading Forex than you've ever had before. And you'll know that you can finally beat that market. And the best thing is it's so simple, it's so uncomplicated that you're going to kick yourself probably for not discovering this sooner, for not using this sooner. So here's why it's important to you right now. Just a little bit about Forex and what it is. The Forex market has grown by over 30% the last 3 years, 32.5% actually. And it's an increase of a third. So the pie is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's actually never been easier to take your fair slice of that pie. It's the biggest market. It's got the most liquidity, the easiest access. It's got fantastic volatility, consistent trends, and really more opportunities than any other market in history. So it literally has never been easier to profit in Forex if you know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, it can be a license to print money, right? Yet, unfortunately, the failure rate among amateur traders still is around 98%. So the market gets easier to trade. The number of profitable traders isn't increasing proportionally. People are still struggling. They're still failing just like they always have, despite more money being available to trade with. Well, I think a big reason for that is the fact that most of the techniques, most of the strategies that we're using, that we're implementing, are the same strategies. So people, ignore the fact that, there are some vital ingredients that they might be missing. And as a result, Forex becomes like trading, like playing roulette, right? The edge that they might think they have is kind of thrown out the window. There's a tiny handful of people that know the correct methods, and what I'm about to teach you is what most professional traders use, and it gives us supreme advantage because, again, there's trillions of dollars every day that a few people with the knowledge and the skills are able to share in. I mean, realistically, winning traders winning traders live off the losses of losing traders. So if you don't want to be a sucker funding somebody else's vacation in Costa Rica, then you need to be one of the elite that's actually making money in the marketplace, right? So the edge I'm going to show you is going to put you on that winner side. It's an edge that you're going to be able to apply to any style of trading that you have, and it's completely versatile and completely flexible. So real quickly, this is me. I'm Brian Stickney. This is actually where I am right now. It's a little bit greener out here right now. I snapped this during the dry season. but this is where I'll be heading as soon as I take this mic off my head in a few minutes. I'm going to walk downstairs and go sit by that beautiful pool over there. I've been trading since 2008, and like a lot of folks, when I got started, I had pretty mixed results. I had some really nice big ups. I got started and had that kind of beginner's luck. I didn't know what I didn't know, and I had some nice big downs following that, and just never could really find my footing, and wasn't able to get consistent until I met James, and that was in 2012. Actually, and through James, I started learning about how the markets actually work in Forex, and I was shocked to realize that a lot of what I was using wasn't really applicable in the Forex market. And I learned how to give myself an advantage by looking at the right things. I mean, it's been amazing, and it's truly helped change the way that I trade and how I look at the markets. It's resulted in my being able to live and trade on my own terms. So it's pretty awesome. James is my mentor, is my trading partner. James is a 15-year vet of the Forex markets, and the method that he taught me isn't something that he just came up on his own. He learned these methods right from the source. He learned the methods from banks and bankers. So real quickly, I'll give you a little bit about James and who he is, so that you can kind of understand how this trading method that we're using and teaching, where it came from and what it can do for you. And then we'll get into the actual training and give you guys some really cool stuff that you can dig into and start using immediately on Monday morning. So James got his start right out of high school as a Marine Commando. He spent 10 years in the Armed Forces in a pretty elite specialist unit, and learned some skills that wealthy people will typically pay very good money for to have you protect them, right? So when he left the Marines, he became a bodyguard for some very wealthy people, very wealthy and powerful people. He looked after billionaires on the Forbes rich list. He looked after members of royalty, and of course the odd celebrity, and that's James when he was Elton John's bodyguard. That's him in the white shirt heroically shielding Elton from a little girl passing by just in case something happened, right? These are pictures that we can show because they're on public domain, but what he can't show you are pictures of his really big clients. These are people that he worked for that are of the very highest echelons of a very secretive world, right? He's got confidentiality clauses in place that would put him in a lot of trouble if he gave out the names. But ultimately, it was his association with these ultra-wealthy, ultra-powerful people that led to him trading foreign exchange and learning the techniques that I'm going to talk to you about today. Basically, it involves a billionaire hedge fund manager, a reclusive millionaire, and the head foreign exchange trader at an international bank in London. Sounds kind of like the beginning of a joke, right? 3 millionaires walk into a bar. Anyway, listen, the term insider secrets really doesn't do the story justice. So I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail about that right now, but it'll become more apparent to you as we get through the training, and you see how all the pieces slot together into what I hope will be a definitive turning point in your trading career from now on. I know it was for me. I know it's been for a lot of our students. The students that we have all had these aha moments. The light bulbs have gone off. We get daily insane numbers of kudos into our support queue from folks that have just had their eyes open. They've had this veil pulled back, and they feel confident about the marketplace, right? So right now I'm going to assume that if you're here today, you might not be a multimillionaire trader. You're probably here to learn, because you want to improve your trading and you'd like to become quite successful at trading. So if I made the wrong assumption, please forgive me, but I'll assume that most people that are here haven't quite reached a level of success that they'd like to have yet, right? So you'll get there. You're doing the right things by being involved in programs like this. You will get there. But what's the problem right now? What's holding you back? What's preventing you from achieving success? I mean, trading looks so simple on the surface. I mean, it looks pretty darn easy, but there's something that you haven't quite grasped. There's something that you maybe haven't understood, you haven't seen. There's that one key element that you need to discover in order to make that breakthrough. So, I mean, type a yes in the chat box if that's you. If you've ever asked yourself the question, what don't I know? What am I missing? What do they, big air quotes, right? What do they know that I don't know? What are they doing that I'm not doing? I'd be honest. I mean, if you're frustration, have you ever wondered those things? I know I have. I mean, when I first started trading Forex, I got knocked for a loop. I mean, I felt exactly like this dude. I felt like someone just came out and punched me. I had these, great ups, but I didn't know. I really didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't understand how the markets actually worked, and as a result, I got knocked for the loop. And you know, in my frustration, I was repeatedly failing, and I kept wondering what the secret was. And so was James. It's something that we all go through. It's not like you're on your own in that quest, right? The thing about James, which was interesting, is he actually had the advantage of working for some very well-connected people. And one of these very well-connected multimillionaires liked him a lot and knew that he was trying to learn how to trade in his spare time, and finally approached him one day and said, hey, I'd like to introduce you to one of my friends. This is the head exchange trader at an international bank in London. Ask them for some advice. They owe me a favor. See what they can do for you. Maybe they can help you get some footing, help you out here. So he did. He asked them. And after he got to know those guys, his friend said, hey, yeah, I'm glad you're taking my advice and talking to these guys. Let me introduce you to another friend. He's a fund trader, and let's see what he can do for you. Ask him. So ultimately, by these connections that James had, he was given, direct from the horse's mouth, the real truth about Forex trading, and it completely smashed the myths and misconceptions about how the markets work and what most amateur traders believe, and explained to him why he'd been so catastrophically bad at trading up to that point and why he was consistently failing to achieve success. And that's ultimately what James taught to me, and he's taught to countless others that have turned our trading careers around. It's been utterly amazing. A bank trader, a hedge fund manager, they taught him that missing link. So let's get started. Let's jump into what that actually is. So when you're trading and you sit down to trade, what do you trade from? Chart, right? Probably something that looks similar to this. Maybe you use bars instead of candles. But ultimately, you'll have the chart up, and you probably will have a pair up, a currency pair, because that's what we trade foreign exchange on, right? We trade on a chart, and we've got currency pairs. So you'll have maybe your trend lines, moving averages, support resistance, fibs, whatever indicators you have. It doesn't really matter at this point. But here's the thing. When you look at this chart, when you look at just this, where is price going to go next? Where is it more likely to go? I mean, it's not a rhetorical question. I'm genuinely asking you, if you see this chart with this information, what is it telling you about where price is going to go next? I mean, despite what some people think, it's impossible to know, because that individual chart by itself is almost worthless. It's worthless information. It reveals practically nothing about the market. I'm going to pause here for a second because I want that to sink in. This chart by itself really doesn't reveal much about the market. People trade Forex, and this is why we have such a high failure rate, I think. They trade Forex the same way they trade stocks and commodities. It kind of makes sense. I get it. I did the same thing. It makes sense because they all look the same, right? They all contain price bars made up of high, low, open, and close. The Euro-USD chart, for example, looks at face value exactly like this chart for oil. So, if you've been trading one thing and you've been learning techniques, you just think, oh, I'll just apply that to Forex. They kind of look the same, right? Kind of looks the same lines there. However, if you trade the USD chart, or any other chart for that matter, whether it's the pound yen or US, New Zealand, I don't know, it just doesn't really matter. That's the first fundamental mistake that you're making. Forex is not like other markets. The charts are not like other charts. I mean, if you're a stock trader or you're trading something like gold or oil futures, all the price information you need about that instrument is contained in the chart. So you've got everything in front of you. You can trade it using whatever indicators you desire to use. However, if you want to trade the Euro-USD chart, this really doesn't have the information you need. I'm kind of slowing down and pausing here because I want you guys to really let this sink in. What is the Euro-USD? What is it? Is it a thing? Is it a standalone entity like gold or oil is? No, it's not. The Euro-USD chart is an exchange rate. It's an exchange rate between the Euro currency and the USD currency. The Euro is a thing by itself. The USD is a thing by itself. They're two separate markets wholly on their own. And this chart is simply telling us the exchange rate if we were going to trade one for the other, right? It's the same thing as if we had this fictional gold-oil chart, right? I mean, gold's one market, oil is another market. So the gold-oil chart would only be telling us the exchange rate if we wanted to swap one for the other. But if we were going to try and predict the price direction of this fictional chart that we have, if we want to know where it was going to go next, we'd have to look at each chart in isolation, right? We'd have to break it down and look at what's gold doing first, and then we'd go over and we'd look at what the oil market's doing, and we'd see which one was going up and which one was going down. And if the gold market was going up because the price of gold was increasing, and the oil market was going down because the price of oil was decreasing, was falling, what direction do you think that chart would go in? So you see how that kind of makes sense? You'd rather, you'd rather be buying a rising commodity and selling a falling commodity. So when we trade the Euro USD, we should be doing the same thing. I hope this is kind of one of those aha moments for you. We're going to look at the Euro first, and then we're going to look at the USD. They're separate markets. We want to know which one's going up, which one's going down. And this way, we've got a better idea of where the actual exchange between those two is likely to go next. It's huge. I mean, Forex is not made up of individual charts, right? I mean, we think of it that way, but it's not. These are all individual currencies. So again, I'm a currency trader. I'm not a pair chart trader, right? James is a currency trader. He's not a pair chart trader. George Soros is a currency trader, not a pair chart trader. He doesn't look at charts in isolation. I mean, there are 8 major currencies in the world. There's the USD, the Euro, the Pound, the Yen, the CAD, the Swissy, the Aussie, the New Zealand. They're all separate markets. They're all on their own, right? And when we combine them, we get 28 potential currency pairs that we could be trading. The thing is, when we're looking at a pair chart, we're looking at the Euro USD chart, we're only looking at 1/28 of the market. It's only 3.5% of the marketplace. So can you see why the chart has almost no valuable information on it? There's really nothing there for us, right? It's missing 96.5% of the information. The majority of the information that we actually need that's influencing that change rate is out here. It's out in the wider marketplace. So if we want to trade the Euro USD, then we really need to know what's happening out here in the real market. You better know what's going on with the USD. You better know what's going on with the Euro. You know, they're two separate currencies. We want to swap them, exchange them from one another. But which one is actually strong? Which one's actually weak? Which one's a rising asset? Which one's a falling asset? So if you're a Forex trader, if you're a currency trader currently, I hope you've had one of those aha moments. I hope that this has been a light bulb that's gone over your head. And this was the starting point for me. I stepped back and I went, whoa, that's so logical. It makes so much sense. Why hasn't anyone ever told me that before, taught me that before? It was an aha moment. I think you can maybe understand now why a lot of people are unable to achieve any kind of consistency or success in Forex trading. It's because they've been trading without looking at the information that they actually need in order to make their trading decisions. It's like looking at one piece of a jigsaw puzzle and being expected to know what that whole picture is, right? I mean, it's no wonder they struggle. Which kind of leads to the next thing about trading. We're going to get into some cool stuff about applying this, is a lot of folks, because they've been consistently failing, start to think that the game is rigged against them. They think the big boys, the market makers, are out to get them. They're manipulating prices. They're hunting their stops. They're stacking the odds against the little guy, and that's why retail traders make it hard to profit, right? But when you sit down and you actually talk to some market makers, you talk to some head exchange traders, you talk to hedge fund traders, you start to realize that when they hear these things, they just laugh. They're conspiracy theories. And they know that. The Forex market's one of the most level playing fields out there in the world. It's the least manipulated, and it is the fairest market you could ever trade in. It really is. I know that some of you guys might recall, a few months back that there was some information in the news about banks. It has to do with the LIBOR and has nothing to do with manipulation as we currently think of it. And that's like a whole other training on its own, and we could get into that. But if we have time, when I wrap up, I'm happy to talk to it. But ultimately, Forex is the easiest market. There's no one out to get you. And you can certainly profit from it if you know what you're doing. Now, of course, you could choose to believe that all the big boys are out there to get you, but if you actually believe that, then you might as well just give up now, because if it was true, you'd never have a chance of succeeding, right? You might as well just go and do something else. And I don't mean to be harsh or anything, it's just true. If you really believe that everything's against you, then you don't need to be trading. But more sensibly, what you could do is just accept that maybe the reason that you've been struggling is because you were doing the wrong thing. You were looking at the wrong stuff, or maybe you weren't looking at the right information, right? So for me, when I discovered this, I said it was a big aha moment. I had this huge wave of relief that came over me, because it made me realize that I was finally able to make some money as a trader. I'm not going to say my struggles were over, but it did. It made me realize, hey, there's things I've been missing, and that was the beginning of success, So I hope you would all agree that right now the explanation, the examples I've given you about looking at individual currencies kind of changes your perspective, right? It changes the way that maybe you've been thinking about looking at the Forex market. You can see how that logic works, right? But of course, theory by itself is no practical use to you. So let's dig in a little bit more and talk about how we can exploit this. So how can we use this in our trading, right? So right now, you know that if you want to trade a chart like the Euro USD, that you need to know what's happening with Euro, and you need to know what's happening as the USD. They're totally separate. We've kind of hammered that home, I think, right now. So what a professional trader does is they actually look at individual currencies. They split the market down, something like this, into the 8 major currencies, so they can assess each one by itself. Now, don't worry, I'm going to show you something in a second. I'll even give you a free tool that's going to it's going to do this for you. It's going to allow you to have a much better picture than trying to split these out manually. But for now, just kind of bear with me. I want to show you the process behind it, and then we can make it easier. I think it's really important if we understand it first before we fast forward. So when you look at individual currencies like this, you can start to see the staggering opportunities that are in front of you. I mean, it should be obvious. You can see at a glance which currencies are strong and trending up, and which currencies are weak and trending down. So, I mean, even if you make that cardinal mistake of only trading a pair chart, you're just focused on one currency pair, which is what a lot of people do. They focus on 1 or 2 pairs. Even if you made that mistake, you know how easy it is to profit when the market's trending, right? When the market's trending, money just about falls in your lap in a heavy trending market, right? Well, imagine how much easier it would be, how much more profitable it could be if you could actually find a strong currency that's in an uptrend, and you could pair that against the weak currencies in a downtrend. I mean, if we look at these together, what do you think is happening on that chart? What do you think is happening when you've got 2 opposite trending currencies? You've got a pretty strong and powerful move occurring when you go over to your charts and you look at that. You can see how powerful that is, right? I hope I've got a ton of yeses coming in. I hope I've opened some eyes earlier this morning, so you can see that. When you've got a strong and a weak currency and you pair them against each other, you've got the absolute best trend in the market. You've bought strength and you've sold weakness. I mean, you've bought an asset that's rising. You've sold an asset that's falling. It's the overwhelming. It's the fundamental principle of almost every trading strategy in history. Buy strength, sell weakness. That's what you're doing when you look at things and you break them out in this manner, and you get away from just focusing on 1 or 2 charts. You're able to actually see what's in the market so that you can do that. You can actually apply that fundamental principle of trading directly back into Forex. So let's stop and look at this. You see a strong currency, you see a weak currency. That's easy. It stands out, right? So you know that pair chart's going to be trending. You can get in, you can trade it for some profit, hopefully, right? But you can also see a flat currency and another flat currency. So you know that pair is going to be flat, so why trade it? Just stay away from it. Avoid the losses. I mean, have you ever wondered why some people find it so easy to trade while others find it so hard? It's really because you've probably been locked away in a small corner, only looking at a portion of the market with more or less worthless information on a single pair chart. So you've been trading in the dark. You're only using 3.5% of the information that's available to you. It makes it pretty difficult, right? Whereas professional traders are actually using all the information. They're using 100% of what's available in the marketplace. So it's going to be easier for us. I mean, we're not any more intelligent than you are, anything of that nature. We're simply doing the right things. We've been taught to look at the right things in the marketplace, and you've been taught to look at the wrong things when it comes to trading Forex. We're using 28 times more information than you are. So, of course, trading becomes easier. We've got an unfair advantage compared to what you've been doing. I hope that's, again, I said that aha moment. It should be an earth-shattering revelation for you that up until now, you might have been thinking that trading was becoming impossible, maybe even thinking about giving up. But now you actually see that truth. I mentioned I had that freeing feeling. It should be clear the unfair advantage the pros have over you. And it's really nothing more than the fact that they're looking at the whole market rather than just charts. So game isn't rigged. There's no conspiracy theory. All you have to do is trade strength against weakness, which we showed by breaking them out. Now, we're going to ramp this up a bit more and put this into practice, so keep taking notes. So what we've got, we want to be able to see, we know we need to see individual currencies, right? We need a tool now that's going to break that down for us. It's going to be able to break it down and show us exactly how they're related to one another. So it just so happens we have a pretty good indicator on our website, and it's free. You can go there, and I'll actually put that link in a little bit later in class as we're wrapping up. But we've got this great chart on our website. You can go there to the tools section. You can get this for free and use it. Pretty cool stuff. What it does is it takes each individual currency, just like what we've been showing here, and it overlays them on top of one another so that you're able to see very quickly, very easily, and do that analysis that allows you to very instantly compare which currencies are strong, which ones are weak, and which ones are flat. Right? Pretty cool stuff. And the real beauty of it is you can actually apply this to any system that you're currently trading. Whatever system you trade, whatever style you trade, whichever time frame you trade, you can apply currency strength analysis to it, and you'll improve your trading tenfold. It's a fundamental principle. I mean, it's so fundamental. It's how the markets actually work. I mean, it's so robust. It really does work with every style, every strategy you can imagine. Trading strength against weakness has been the simplest and most reliable fundamental principle since the markets began. You buy strength, you sell weakness. It doesn't get any easier than that, right? It's worked that way, and it's always going to continue to work that way as long as markets exist. I mean, it doesn't matter how the conditions change or when they go sideways. We're going to be able to see that. We can stay out. When they go back to trending, we can see that. We can get in. I mean, the true power of the technique that gives you is it's just unreal. It allows you to see the real market, and it allows you to adapt accordingly so you take fewer losses and you get more wins. Right? So here's some more education. We're gonna let's talk about. We've talked about how we should be looking at currencies. We talked about a tool you can use. You can get it from our website. Go into the tools section. I'll post a link in there for you here in a bit. It's totally free. But now let's talk about how you can actually apply it. Right? Let's do some simple education that you can use starting as of Monday. Right? I mean, it's no doubt that you've heard of breakout strategies. Right? You've heard of those. They're you can go just about any forum that's out there and look it up. You can look up London breakout or New York breakout. They're some of the simplest and most popular strategies to implement. So here's how it works. Something like this. And basically, when a new financial center opens, like London or New York, you would bracket in above and below the price. Right? If price falls and breaks out of that range, you sell it. If price rises, breaks out of that range, you buy it. The idea here is to try to take advantage of that early market opening momentum, right? It's a very effective strategy. It's been proven to work time and time again. The only problem with the market breakout strategies is they're kind of random. You don't know which currencies are moving. So if you don't know what market's moving, it makes the strategy kind of random and you get random results. So imagine how much more effective and profitable it would be if you could actually only trade the breakout on a pair that has a strong currency matched against a weak currency. I mean, imagine instead of just picking the same pair and blindly hoping for the best, that you could actually take a look at individual currency strength and weakness, first of all, and then pick the pair that matches a very strong currency against a very weak currency, just like these two, and then be able to trade that. So one morning, maybe you trade the euro-yen. Next day, conditions are different. Maybe you're trading the pound USD. I mean, you're going to trade where the market tells you to trade, and that gives you the best opportunity. It lets you know where the best opportunity exists so that you're always trading in the direction of the highest probability move. You think that maybe you'd have a better win rate by doing something like that? You think maybe you'd be able to catch bigger moves? Yeah, maybe you'd be a more profitable trader. So hopefully, seeing how simple and easy we can apply this technique is another step for you. It's not complicated. It's just common sense, right? You take a look in the morning, take a look at the currency strength tools when the market opens, whatever market session you happen to be trading with us, London, US, Tokyo. Just take a look, identify the currency that's got that strongest move to the upside, and you match it against the strongest individual currency that's moving down to the weak side. You've got a strong currency and a weak currency right at the market open, and then you trade in the direction that breaks out. So stop for a second and think about what this ability is going to do for you in your trading. I mean, imagine the confidence that you'll have knowing that you can actually spot the currency pairings that have the best opportunity to trend and avoid those that are in choppy ranges. That's what it's all about, right? We've got to put the odds in our favor. We've got to be able to avoid these choppy markets and get into the ones that are actually trending. We've been taught that since day one. We've probably heard trend is our friend. But the thing is, we never know how to find it, right? This is the opportunity. We can actually relax. We can find that more profitable way of trading. And this is the way the professionals trade. And like I said, we're analyzing individual currency strengths, and it can be applied to any system in any method that you like. We explained a very simple breakout strategy right now just to demonstrate how easy it is. But you can apply it to any system, and your results are going to improve almost instantly. I mean, it's super simple to use, and it really does make your life as a trader way more profitable, more enjoyable, more reliable. It allows you to relax and kind of take away that sweating palm that you get as you enter a trade. I'm very aware of that in the past, right? It puts the odds in your favor, so you have a higher probability of winning so that you can profit more than you lose. Now, you're going to massively, by doing this, reduce your losing streaks and drawdowns, and because you're actively steering clear of those choppy range-bound markets. Now, I'm not saying, of course, that you're not going to take losses. There's still losses. This technique, no technique, can ever guarantee the outcome of a trade. There's no way to get 100% wins or anything of that nature. But what it does allow you to do is trade with the odds stacked in your favor. It gives you the opportunity to have a higher probability of winning. That's what we're doing. It eliminates that emotional roller coaster with all those wild ups and downs in your equity curve. It starts to eradicate those things. And having that higher win rate and fewer losses, we have a much calmer and smoother ride, right? So I think you can all agree that sounds pretty good. I hope so anyway. I hope that's something that would sound good to you guys. And I know on the surface it appears much too simple, but it is. That's what it is. We've got to get away from all the clutter that we often put into trading. Trading can be simple. It's one of those keys to success. The best traders keep things very, very simple, and incorporating currency strength analysis is just about as easy and straightforward as it comes. I'm picking the strategy you like. Doesn't matter, what entry rules you use, what indicators you use, what time frame you're using. Just pick your favorite system, and then add currency strength analysis to it as that final confirmation. And when you do that, you're going to see your results skyrocket. So check out that free currency trading tool on our site. I know that you're going to love that, being able to see which currencies are strong and getting stronger, which ones are weak and getting weaker. Use that and apply it with your usual system. And I think that one simple step is really going to help you, see incredibly different results. I know it's pretty easy. This was the first step for me. It was the first big aha that I had with James, and it's really taken me a long way. So I hope that this is something that think of it as something that you can start using right now. Well, not right now because the markets are closed, but beginning on Monday. I'm sure when you start using that, you'll see the difference. And I hope again, I can't see the chat box, but type in. Let me know if this is something that you'll begin using first thing on Monday for those of you that are Forex traders. I hope that all of you will start doing this. I mean, it's such a simple thing, and it's going to help you avoid those mistakes that we talked about earlier. Now, I know you're all waiting for me to give away another $50. I'm not going to do that just yet, but I am going to give you something even a bit better than that. All right, so you guys are all here today. We talked earlier about folks that take action get rewarded for it. You know, those that are action takers reap the rewards of their action. So you've already registered today. You've taken action by registering for the event. You've taken action by being here for the event. So as a special concession, we've got a pretty cool bonus for you today. In a moment, we're going to have some Q&A, and I'll answer any questions that you have about Forex trading and currency strength trading in the time that I have left. And I know we've shown you a lot this morning. We've gone through it pretty quickly because I wanted to give you an overview of that key information in a very short amount of time. It's not like we can cover everything in just 1 hour. But it's about education. And I hope we've given you some quality education that you can apply and start using. But realistically, this is kind of the tip of the iceberg. I mean, if you're someone that's committed to your own success, then you might want a bit more training to help guide you along the way. So we have actually put together a pretty cool training experience for you. It's almost 5 hours of training, and we literally break down the complete process that we kind of skimmed over today. We break that down, and we teach you a full system, including giving you some cool additional tools that will help you get the maximum benefit out of that method. So if you want more detailed training, then you're really going to love this. And don't worry, I'm not going to give you some horrible, lengthy sales pitch or anything, but I am going to show you kind of what we offer, and if it's something that you like and you'd like to take action, then we've got some great rewards that'll help you with that, with taking action as well, right? So anyway, we've packaged up all of our video lessons. We've got 10 video lessons that teach you everything you need to know so that you can operate like a professional in the Forex market. Each lesson has been broken down. It's about 25 minutes long there or less. Some are actually a little bit less than that. But we found that 25-minute segments is pretty good for our attention span, right? It's the most effective way to absorb the material. If we're doing anything longer than that, you just kind of get lost out there. So every lesson, it's crammed with what we need to know, and we've stripped out everything except the crucial points that are going to help you become a more profitable trader. Lesson 1, we're giving you the truth about Forex, the markets, way more depth than we're getting in here today, and that's a big piece. We've talked about how we should look at the markets, but actually how the markets work is very eye-opening as well, and it helps reveal what the bigger players are doing and what's actually going on there so that you can actually see the full potential and the staggering opportunities that are in the marketplace after this. Lesson 2 shows you how prices really move in Forex. And that's a big deal because there is a mathematical, indisputable fact which proves that prices are more likely to move in one direction or another. I'm going to pause, kind of dramatic effect on that, but I mean, imagine the thrill of knowing with certainty that prices are more likely to go one way than the other. And we talk about that in Lesson 2. Lesson 3 focuses on trade exits. I know you're like, trade exits, we're just getting started, but realistically, money is made or lost when you exit the trade, not when you enter. So before we go any further, we want to make sure that we teach you those skills that allow you to control profit over loss on every single trade. Then in Lesson 4, we're going to show you how to utilize a number of resources that professional money managers use so that you can avoid those painful losses that crush your dreams, and believe me, I'm very aware of those in the past. And you can start implementing basic rules that help you maximize your gains, which is really cool. And it's all just getting that start of turning that ship so that you can be on that right path to success. Lesson 5, complete tutorial on using the strength analysis tool. I mean, again, we kind of glossed over it. We showed you the basics about how it works, but we're actually going to give you a bit more than that. We're going to dig into the tool itself, let you know what it looks at, how it makes its calculations so that you have confidence. I mean, this is something that you're using to trade and base your trades on, so you have to be confident in its accuracy, its reliability. You need to understand beyond a doubt that it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. So in this lesson, we get into more about what our tool is and how it works. Lesson 6, we give you the basics of the system that you can use to develop skills for correct market analysis and entry. And you'll be shown exactly what to look for, exact conditions that are going to dictate that trade entry. In Lesson 7, we spend time walking you through various trading examples, showing you trade after trade after trade so that the patterns that we're looking at on that currency strength dashboard become just ingrained in your mind so that you can recognize the conditions instinctively and enter a trade without hesitation, which is a really big thing as well, getting that head crash out of the way and being able to execute your plan no matter what. Lesson 8, we get into money management, stop orders in the system. We let you know exactly how much money to risk on each trade and where to place your pending stops. Big deal there, again, comes back to, kind of that part in Lesson 3 where we're talking about trading exits. We're building upon that. In Lesson 9, we're showing you how to activate the power of your trailing stop so you can lock in some profit, reduce your risk, increase the ratio size of your wins compared to your losses. Trailing stop is an amazing tactic that really enhances an already impressive edge that we're giving you and helps turn a good system into a really good system, into a great system, right? And then finally, in Lesson 10, this is where we get into the intricacies of the system. We really, kind of deep dive on what to expect under different market conditions, how to handle news, where to, when to cancel your pending orders, which sessions to trade, a ton more in there. It's, James has been teaching traders since 2012. I was, one of his early students, and over that amount of time, he's answered just about every question imaginable. So he addresses them all in this last bit, so that you've got a solution before you even have the question, right? Pretty good stuff. So obviously, run you through that. I've got to ask you, what do you think that's worth to you? I mean, Complete Currency Trader is one of, if not the, I think we actually may be the most expensive Forex education sites out there.
Hey, Brian.
We just are.
Brian, redo your screen.
Yeah.
Jeanette logged off real quick, so if you don't mind, just redo your screen real quick.
Yeah, man. What do you mean redo my screen? Just reshare it?
Yeah, that's all you got to do. Thanks, man.
Screen. All right. Let's see if I can do this. If I go to stop showing my screen and then start showing my screen, we should be good to go. All right. Hopefully you guys can see that again. And so here's the thing. I mean, we are the most expensive site out there. I really think we are. It's done by design. It's one of those things that we purposely charge a higher price for our services for the simple fact that we believe that what we offer is simply the very best training that's out there. I mean, I don't make any apologies for that, neither does James. We charge a lot of money. We charge $20,000 for a single day of consulting. We have people that pay us $3,500 for conference calls to ask us questions over a couple of hours. We sell our training packages for over $14,000 and mentoring for $10,000 and higher. I mean, we don't make any apologies for that. What we have is quality stuff. That's not what I'm offering you today, though. Obviously, we've got a special concession because we love Jeanette, we love Hubert, we love TradeThirsty, and what we're going to give you is all these 10 lessons that we've just talked about, 4.5 hours worth of video training here, so that you know exactly what to do. And stuff like this isn't generally sold very cheap. You probably know if you've been in the marketplace, something like this is generally $200 to $500, right? But as a special concession for TradeThirsty, we're actually going to throw in a little bit more and give you some pretty cool stuff. In addition to the 10 videos, we're also going to give you an ebook, 57-page ebook that puts the entire system into a written format for you so that you can go back and refresh your memory after you've been through everything. We're going to give you an entry indicator that sits on your MT4 charts and allows you to visually see exactly where to place your trades and where to place your stop loss without having to worry about fumbling around figuring out. And then we're also going to give you a trailing stop EA that functions a little bit differently than what's in MT4 so that it actually moves your stop loss for you, locks in those profits, so you don't have to fumble around with the order windows or anything like that. And then, of course, there's the currency strength tool. Now, you've got a free one on the site, which I'll throw that in here in just a second. But there's also this version that we'll give you, which can be installed directly on your platform, which really is awesome. It gives you a secret weapon that allows you to deep dive in to see what's going on in the marketplace, and it also allows you to not be reliant on us or our website, right? So it's a downloadable version that you can have. You can customize a little bit. So what's all that worth to you? I mean, what are you expecting me to say the price is? I imagine you're probably expecting me to say something fairly high. Well, I told you that people that take action reap rewards, and I'm not backing down from that. You know, the benefit of taking action to be at this TradeThirsty event is that you can actually get everything that I've just talked about for $9.97. It's not any kind of an intro offer where we're going to charge you more down the road. We're truly dedicated to education, and we really, truly want you to learn the fundamental things that will help you become a better trader. So everything that we've just talked about, you're going to get for less than $10. And you know, sometimes being in the right place, taking action, just getting involved, it drops a good thing in your lap. You know, we are going to take some risk out of that for you. I know it's only $10, but at the same time, we want you to be happy with it. So if for any reason, you know, when you do order the 10-day trial or this 10-day course, and you're going through it, and you're like, man, I don't, this isn't really for me. Try it out though. Put it to the test. Make sure you're happy with it. If you're not though, just ask for your money back before we finish up the course, and we refund you in full, no questions asked. It's a great way to look at the market, and it's a great introduction to trading, and you'll learn a system that you can apply for the rest of your life, whether you do anything else with it or not. It's absolutely amazing. So if you want this exclusive offer, take it now. Take it today, and I'll throw this in chat if I can, and we'll open it up for questions from here. Let's go ahead and get this into the chat box.
Hey, Brian, reinitiate one more time. I don't know why, but GoToWebinar is a little flaky this morning. I'm just seeing the welcome screen, and so are a few other folks. So let's see if we can. I don't know why, though. It's every now and then GoToWebinar is usually pretty solid, but it seems this.
Hey, it has this technology, man.
I know, right?
We're all over the world doing different things.
See if you can read. I made you're an organizer. You're the panelist too. So see if you just reinitiate again. A couple people are saying it's working good for me. There's just a few people. Looks great to me, no problem. Okay, cool. Maybe it's just me.
Click and show my screen. I'm going to put this into the chat box. It doesn't show that I'm an organizer, though. Oh, entire audience. Let me drop this in here for you guys real fast. So here's a couple of links for you. You can go there and get that free trading tool on our website. Now, obviously, today's Saturday, so it's not going to be up and running until the market's open. For those of you here in the U.S., late in the afternoon tomorrow, the currency market's open, so you'll be able to see that start moving. But yeah, check that out. There's a great tool there, and then of course you've got the link to purchase. Only $9.97 for a ton of incredible trading there. Now it is a digital course. It's not something we show binders and discs and things on our screenshot here, but it's a digital course. It's not delivered to your house. It's something you'll get in a members area that's delivered over that 10-day period, and you can come back to it anytime you want to and re-access. So pretty cool stuff. I highly encourage you to take advantage of it. Like I said, action takers get rewarded, and this is an incredible opportunity. It was the aha moment for me, and then it was the turning point. Just this exact thing that you guys are learning right now was the turning point for me in foreign exchange trading, and I hope it's something that can be a turning point for you. Just what we've talked about today. We've given you exactly how you should be looking at the markets, and we've taught you some pretty simple strategies that you can apply. So I hope you're applying those. For those of you that want to learn more, take advantage of that right now. And like I said, I can't see questions, unfortunately. Kind of
I'll help you out. That's all right. Yeah, I'll help you out. Let me read some to you. All right. So, first question is there an ongoing fee, or is it only $9.97 one time?
No, absolutely not. No ongoing fees. We're not sneaky like that. We want to give you some good education up front.
Awesome. Let's see. Somebody's saying, is it an e-course or is it delivered to my house? Obviously, it's an e-course, correct?
It's an e-course. Absolutely.
No,
$10 we can't give you all that stuff to get it to your house.
Exactly. You'd pay more than that in shipping. Does it work? What systems does it work on? I think I heard you say MT4. Is that the
exactly?
one?
MetaTrader 4 is the most widely used for forex trading, and that's what we've got our indicators designed for. I mean, you can still use our online stuff and apply that to any tool, but MT4 is what the downloadable tools are for.
All right, let me see here. This tool. Is there a better time of day to trade than others?
Yeah, absolutely there is. I mean, you can trade currency strength really during any market session, but of course you start breaking down market sessions, you want to trade where the majority of traders are. So it stands to reason, just thinking about it logically, London has more people, the London session has more people trading than, say, the Sydney session. right?
Yep.
Way more people. So you're going to want to trade when you've got more folks trading. I personally trade. I trade opening of the U.S., so I've got U.S., Canada, London, and Europe all online. It's a very heavy market at that point.
Let's see. Your currency strength line's pretty smooth. How do you explain frequent retracements?
Yeah, they're going to be there. You've got to look at time, and you've got to look at what's happening in the marketplace. And like anything, you've got to look at what your odds are over the longer period. I mean, you can't look at one or two trades and say, well, that retraced against me. It doesn't work. Trading doesn't work that way. I think any trader around here today will tell you that you've got to look at your odds over the longer term period. So, yeah, there's frequent retracements in Forex, but we're looking to take advantage of those quick bursts, and we're able to see that using exactly what we're showing you today.
All right, here's a question from Frank. I purchased this course before, but I don't recall having access to the download tools. Do I have to purchase it again to get them?
No, Frank, I'll make sure we get your so Jeanette, or if you can just let me know Frank, if you can type your email address in there, I'll have a look at it. But there's a downloads link at the top of your course. You can just click where it says introduction course, and you'll see the downloads. They should be in there for you. All
right, so I'm going to read off the link because evidently GoToWebinar is having all kinds of problems this morning. So what you want to do is you want to go to CompleteCurrencyTrader.com // trade thirsty, okay? So you're going to go to CompleteCurrencyTrader.com / trade thirsty. And the link's working. I've already checked it out, tested and everything. It goes to $9.97 offer. All right, so some people are saying $997. No, it's only $10. $9.97. Okay.
Exactly. And make sure if you're typing it in, trade, the T in trade and T in thirsty should be capitalized. So CompleteCurrencyTrader.com, trade thirsty with capital T's.
All right, let's see here. Let me see here. It's a 10-day course. Will it be available for just 10 days after a purchase?
No, absolutely not. You get to go back in there and revisit it whenever you need to. Plus, you get that ebook that you'll be able to download, so that you can also revisit it there in kind of a hard copy without having to wade through the videos again.
Here's one from Guy. How do I start trading Forex? I currently trade stock options. Please advise. Thanks.
Well, a great place to start is with this introduction course. Just go to that link, CompleteCurrencyTrader.com / trade thirsty, and that'll get you started. And obviously, if you have questions about platforms to use or brokers or anything of that nature, we don't recommend specific brokers, but I can certainly steer you in the right direction.
Okay, let's see here. Are all the trading materials in the e-version for download? I would assume yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a complete course, guys. I mean, it's. I know that there's always that. What am I really getting? Am I getting sucked into something? We give you everything that you need to learn how to trade foreign exchange the correct way and how to get started. And we're committed to that. We're committed to your success. And we get accolades daily from folks that are just blown away by the amount and clarity of material that we provide for only $10. But it's because we're so committed to action takers.
Super smart. We got a lot of people thinking there's a catch. Obviously, there is no catch other than you got to have $9.97. That's a catch. So Brian and his company, they're smart guys. I mean, they're not stupid guys. What they're doing is they're giving you a large amount of value for a very small fee, and then they offer higher end stuff, right? So if they give you crazy good value for $10, and then on down the road, if you want to invest in one of their higher, more advanced classes, then you're going to have good vibes from it. So there's no catch. They're actually doing it the right way. This is how you give first, and you ask, right? So this is the nature of how everything works, right? Really, like if you add value to other people's lives first, you will probably get something back in return in the future. You just have to invest in that. So it's only $10, less than the cost of lunch, correct? What size account is needed to trade Forex?
And that's a loaded question right there. It really is. You can get started with a very small account. I mean, Forex has got a very low barrier of entry. Of course, how much do you actually need is that's an individual question that you'd really have to answer as you kind of look at your longer term goals. I'm not going to tell you you're not going to start trading Forex and turn $500 into $1 million in 3 years. Or anything like that. That's just not going to happen. You know, you need to have some money to make some money. But you know, we can certainly steer you in the right direction and help you start understanding what to look for and what things you should be asking yourself so that you can make the right decisions around account size and where you should be saving and how you can start applying that in order to grow your wealth over time.
That's a great answer. So if you have never traded currencies, guys, what you can do is you can start out. Now, the currencies are actually one of the better markets to trade, especially when they're moving is. But the cool thing about it is you can decide on your position size. You can do micro lots, you can do mini lots, and you can do standard lots. So you can start out trading like $500 and you can trade micros or minis. Now, when stuff moves 20 pips, you're only going to make 20 cents instead of $20 or $2,000 or $20,000. But it's a great way to actually learn how to trade as opposed to just being demo jockeys where you're up $1 million on your demo account, which you can't buy anything with, right? So one of the best ways to get ease yourself into all trading is start with demo, and then after that start with the smallest possible size you can, but still make it real money. That way at least you have skin in the game, okay? And then you can work up to a standard lot, and then you can start trading multiple standard lots. So it's a great way to do it.
Yep, absolutely.
What kind of here you go. Here you go. This is also a loaded question. I love when people answer these. What is your average rate of return for the average person? Yes.
Yeah, again, a loaded question. It really is. That's going to depend on a lot of things. You know, it's going to depend on the markets that you're trading during, how often you're trading. It's going to depend on your success in actually following and consistently following your trading plan, your trading method. You know, when it comes down to it, it stands to reason if you're trading, let's say, the Tokyo session, maybe you either live in Asia or you live in the United States and you get off work and you're trying to trade at 6 p.m. You're going to take far fewer trades than somebody that's trading both the London and the U.S. session. So you're going to have lower returns annually than someone that's able to trade both sessions and be consistent in what they're doing. So there's a lot of variables that go into that, and we're able to teach you that and guide you with it, and kind of ways to back into what to expect from your trading based on your results as you practice and get some experience.
All right, here's more of a technical question, or fundamental. Let's see here. If the USD is falling as you try to enter a trade, the fact that the US is dropping, isn't there a real loss in a trade using a stronger currency? And how do you explain how currency strengthen affects bonds?
Well, I'm not talking bonds. I have no idea how it impacts bonds. I'm a currency trader solely. So this is what I do. I focus on this market, nothing else. So that's number one. So I can't tell you, you know, how things correlate. I mean, I obviously look at stuff, but this is what I do is trade currency. So I can't really get into that. As far as when the USD is falling, it would depend on you know the rapidness and the momentum behind that fall. So we're looking at all 8 major currencies together kind of laid on top of one another. And although it may appear the USD is falling, if you really look at it in how it's relative to what the other currencies are doing, it may not be a significant fall in the grand scheme of things. There may be a better trade on the euro and the yen. Maybe the yen's falling more steeply and more rapidly. There's a bigger imbalance in orders on the yen. So I would want to look for things to pair with the yen over the USD. I'm not going to get, you know, we don't put blinders on and focus on 1 or 2 currencies. We have to look at the overall market in order to understand what's happening there. So there's a level of perception. We can perceive the USD falling if we're looking at the USD, but when we look at the market altogether, we may see that there's actually a better opportunity to trade something else, and that's what we're going to trade.
All right. Brian, man, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. I'm going to read off your link one more time. So it's CompleteCurrencyTrader.com/TradeThirsty, and make sure you capitalize the T in both of those. TradeThirsty. CompleteCurrencyTrader.com/TradeThirsty. All right. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me on today. Have a great day.